In Syria, up to 54 people have been killed and dozens injured by twin car bombings in a Damascus suburb mostly populated by President Assad supporters. For insight into the situation in Syria, I'm now joined live by Ammar Waqqaf, a member of the Syrian Social Club, a pro-government group pushing for reforms. Mr. Waqqaf, violence is now almost daily in pro-Assad areas of eastern Damascus. How concerned is the government now?
Well, in terms of fearing for the government to fall, I don't think the government is really concerned much. Fearing for its supporters, obviously, or any Syrian citizen is the issue. Fearing for the destruction of the infrastructure, fearing for the deteriorating state of the economy is the worry that is definitely on the Syrian government's mind. This has been going on for a while. This seems to be very systematic. We need to understand what happened today in Jaramana. This is not the first time that this happens in this neighborhood. This issue is twofold. There are two issues to consider. First of all, those neighborhoods and cities that are not willing to join up with the so-called revolution are being collectively punished, as some of my friends from Aleppo said, who saw their city or half of their city destroyed so far. There is also the issue of ethnic cleansing. Jaramana is an area where a lot of minority groups live, and in the Al-Qaeda or Salafi intellect, these people should not belong in the believers' homelands, so to speak. So they are trying to push them to abandon those areas and go elsewhere. So this is quite serious what is happening, and at least now we are not seeing or hearing anyone who's claiming that the regime is actually bombing these areas in order to draw some support.
So with all these different tactics being used, would you say that these bomb attacks in the capital city are normal civil war tactics, these car bombs?
Well, as I said, they have all sorts of objectives. First of all, obviously, to give the illusion or to give the sense or the feeling that the government is not in control, in the hopefully, that people would start losing support. We know that the theory has been from the very beginning that the people are afraid of the government, and once they feel that the government's strong grip is slipping, they would immediately shift sides. Obviously, this is yet to happen, and people are still in support, or there is enough people in support of the government to prevent it from falling. So yes, this is a civil war tactic in a sense.
Now, France decided to donate around $1.5 million to the opposition Syrian National Coalition. Who decides where this money ends up?
Well, I would say that the money that is being announced to the public is going where it is announced, where it is headed, really, or supposed to be heading. France or Britain or these governments, they operate under certain terms of transparency and accountability with regards to public funds. So I expect that those 1.5 million will go to buy the communication devices and so on. What worries us, actually, is the money that is not being announced. Some people say it's like hundreds of times. Some people say it's even thousands of times of the 1 million. It's the clandestine support. It's the covert support of intelligence, of satellite imagery, of facilitation of weapons, training on the ground, so on and so forth, that is worrying us, and that is really playing with fire, because the groups that such support is ending up with is actually groups that formally or usually they form a lot of threat to those democratically elected governments in France and Britain.
Mr. Waqqaf, before I let you go, Turkey and America are discussing deploying Patriot missiles on the Turkish border with Syria amid, the fears that the conflict will spill over. Will that prevent further escalation?
I think it would do the contrary. I actually agree with the Russian estimate. This is quite destabilizing, because what we have is that there are factions who are wanting the NATO to intervene at any cost, really. And once we realize this, we realize that those missiles or those units that are being deployed along the border can be attacked by any sort of small faction with the possession of a mortar shell, and this could actually escalate the issue a little bit more. So I think it's quite destabilizing.
Thank you very much. Ammar Waqqaf, member of the Syrian Social Club, joining us live there from London.
Thank you very much.